Well, Salam Habibi, how are you? I hope you are fine. It is me, Michaela Santa. I am here with you. Well, according with titles, yeah, yes. Well, it is the points here today we are roasting Sakshi in the topic of the German LGBT parents. And now, here, here today's person is Dr. Silke Willems. And now, in these cases, here is the parts that is the significant moments that we are here to roast her. Okay? Now let's check at the moments. Well. Now here we can see, generally I do not abuse someone's, but sometimes here we have to break the rules because of my sister. Okay. Now let's check at the points. What about the Sakshi? Okay. Now here we can see these points. Here is Indian Got Letters. It is the girl named Sakshi. Well, and here we can see these moments. What is the Sakshi's opinions? There is, but she genuinely hates man. What do men know? Well, when I see mans, I think, yuck, man's is like, dude, dash the sides. Well, and in 29 minutes 49 seconds, Sakshi states here, man, no way, and then you realize, man, what do man know? Okay. Now there is the topics about the points. Now, well, it is there. It is Sakshi's point, and now, and here we can see that is the dangerous moments. Well, now, according with the Sakshi's statements here, either shake it up and go as for 19 minutes 34 seconds. That is the brothers. Well, and she states that women are dominated than men. And now, that is her points. Okay. Now here we can see. Well, and now let's check it. What is women's reality? Okay. Well. Now here our today's point is about the German girls. German girl's name is the Silke Willems. Okay. And now let's check it. Who is the Silke Willems? Here Silke Willems is the girls to be the women director of German Internal Intelligence Agency. Now, what is the German Internal Intelligence Agencies? Here we can see that is the points. The name is Bundesamt für Verfassungsgestus. Okay. It is the German's domestic intelligence agency. Okay. Now here we can see. Well, now why? Now here is my question points that why Sakshi always hate man and Sakshi thinks that man cannot do nothing. Because here is the moment here. Well, Sakshi became, according with the Sakshi statements, here man cannot become the director of German Domestic Intelligence Agency according with Sakshi's wish, feminist wish. Hence, Sakshi always hate man. Now, here is the point. Today's live stream is about the news and politics, and that means it is almost in the geopolitics moments, and somehow here we can notify about the science. Okay. Now here we can see this points. Here we could see a woman is director of German domestic intelligence agency names here, Silke Willems. And now why we are discussing about German domestic intelligence agency where director is Dr. Silke Willems, because today's point is here attacks on LGBT parents. Okay. And now, let's check at the moments. Well, and now, let's check it. Here is the times. Well, it is the moments at the points that is significant dangers. Accordance with YouTube Israel, here when we are searching on the Lebanese Islamic terrorist, well, Abdul Balaut, well, here we can see it is yesterday. It is yesterday's screenshots. I mean, what is the screenshot dates? That was July 27th. And in this times here, Berlin terror shock, pride attack suspect Abdul Balaut eliminate after city walk manhunt. Okay. What is the moment? That is almost mirror now. 2.2 thousand views. Okay. And now from the Fox News, here we can see how much views. Triple 2,000 views. And the title is breaking. Police eliminate suspect in alleged Islamic terror attack near Berlin Pride festivals. And now that is the points to be notified. Okay. And now let's check at the points. What was the beautiful pride parades? Who was the participant? Here both of three persons are only demonstrate they are not real LGBT in their real lives. That is our disclaimers. Okay. Now, as in demonstrate examples, here in Berlin Pride parades, here 3 person was participated. Here one person is Henry Cavill, and another person is here Robert Downey Jr. and the third person is here Muslim Bells. I mean Christian Bells at the moment. Okay. Now in this cases, here is the points what's going on, and in this point here is the significant moments that what Berlin could do. Okay. First of all, here we can see in the demonstrated gay families. Here we could notify Henry Cavill is a man to be a biological father. Okay. Fine. Man can contains capability to be biological fathers. Okay, that's good. And here we can see Henry Cavill's demonstrate husband Robert Downey Jr. can be man to be a biological mothers. Well, with the support of here artificial ovens. And here Muslim Bell is their demonstrated son, where father is Henry Cavill and mother is Robert Downey Jr. Okay. Now here we can see LGBT parents is just like an peoples and block categories. But now why we discuss here LGBT Berlin Pride attacks as an geopolitical live streams? That is the question. And here we are trying to understand that why Sakshi always hates men. Okay. Now let's take at the moments. Well, first of all, here we can see me contents about German submarines where they can attack on Dhaka, the capital city of Bangladesh, to eliminate here Shama Obayed. Okay, now we can see here the Shama Obayed is the celebrity of whom? The man-hater Sakshi. Okay, now here we can see that is the points to be noticed. And now let's check at the moments. Well, so, and here we can see, oh my god, oh my Adonai, here we can see what's going on. Well, now we can see about the clear, we have to clear the moments. Well, now here input is departure as Berlin. Okay, now we can see the sponsor. I don't know that what's going on, but now still here we can see well, after the long times it is okay. Now here Bremans. Now let's check the moments. Berlin and Ger. Now here you can see what's going on, and here that is the moments. Bremens, yes, Bremen, Germany. Okay, here departure is Bremen, Germany, and here we can see the spots. Well, what is the middle place? That would be Tel Aviv, the capital city of Israel, and the arrival would be what? Say hi. Salam, how are you? I hope you are fine. Well, and arrival is, well, Dhaka, Bangladesh. To eliminate whom? To eliminate here our honorables, terrorist Shama Obayeds. And now, I mean the second, significant Bangladeshi terrorist Jamajia. And now, let's check it what's happening in the points. Okay, now let's check it. Well, and now, here we can see from Germany's, here we can notify what would be their arrivals. And now, in this cases, well, and here we can see first stop is sea beach near to Netherlands, and now the second stop is here sea beach in sea in English channels. Okay, now let's check at the points. Third stop is about the sea near to the France, and now, well, fourth stop is sea near to northern Portugal, and here fifth is here sea near to the eastern southern Portugal, and here we can cover it. And now let's check at the moments. Now here we can notify next stop is about Gibraltar. Okay, now let's check it where's the moments. Next stop is sea beach near to Algeria. Next stop is sea beach near to Greece, and here next stop is Tel Aviv, the capital city of Israel. Okay. Now what a beautiful country Israel is. And now let's check it the points. Let's calculate the next stops. Well, and here we can see that is the significant next stops as we could notify. Next stop is well the enter Suez canals. Okay. Now we can notify the enter Suez canals at some times. Well, and now next stop is here Strait of Aden. Well, next stop is here Gulf of Aden. Okay. Next stop is here near to Oman's. I mean, see near to Oman. Now, oh my God. And now let's check it. Next stop is here see near to Iran and see near to well Pakistan, Karachi, the city of Pakistan. And next is see near to Gujarat, the provincial state of India. Okay. And now let's check at the moments. And here we could notify next stop is sea beach near to Maldives. Next stop is sea beach near to here Sri Lanka. And now next stop is here sea beach near to Malaysia. And now here we can see next stop is here sea beach near to Chittagong. And now we are in Bangladesh. Okay. Now here in these cases, let's check at the moments. Well, from Germany to Bangladesh to eliminate here Bangladeshi terrorists, I mean Bangladeshi terrorists. Well, how much? What is the travel distance? That is, well, triple L. I apologize. Okay, that is here 1170.2 now nautical miles. Now here is my questions that what is well 1170.2 nautical miles. Here we can see no nautical miles to kilometer. Okay. Now let's check at the moments. Oh my God. Image. And now I think here we can see the sponge 1170.2 nautical miles. And now that is almost 20,687 kilometers. Well, 210 meters, 400 millimeters. That means it is almost here 21,000 kilometers is the meaning of 1170.2 nautical miles. And now, in these cases, here is the moments. And now, here is the points. Well, what is the points of Silke Willems that here Silke Willems is women to be director of German Domestic Intelligence Agency. And now in these cases here we can see the points of what is the matter between Silke Willems, the women director of German Domestic Intelligence, and Sakshi, Bihar governmental teacher Sakshi just here. Sakshi always hates men. Now, in this case is the points. Okay. Now, what is the dualities here? I would check it the moments. And now, let's check it. Okay. Well, now let's check it the point moments. And here we can see. Well, accordance with the demonstration stories here, the German Navy soldiers, both as husband Henry Cables and husband Robert Downey Jr., they contains one German submarines that can travels. Okay, that can travels. Well, 1170.2 nautical mile from departure to be Bremen, the city of Germany, and Dhaka, the capital city of arrival to Dhaka, the capital city of Bangladesh. And in these cases, here is the points what's going on. Now, in this case, at the moment, well, now here in the previous points, we have mentioned here Lebanese Islamic terrorist Abdul Bal out. What's the times? And we can see, well, here 21,000 German nationalist submarine velocity was 21,000 kilometer per second. Oh my gosh. I think I would wrong. Well, German's submarine's velocity was 210,000 kilometer per second. And on the other hand, here Bangladeshi terrorist submarine's velocity was 21,000 kilometer per second. And now here is the place that how German gay man is destroying Sakshi ego. Now here we can see the points. Well, German national submarine's velocity is 21,000 km per second, where travel time is here travel distance is 21,000 kilometers. Hence, the travel time is 1 second. Now, in accordance with here Germany, accordance with German time zone, here we could notify the departure time would be well morning 6 o'clock, July 28, 2026, and the arrival time would be here morning 6 o'clock, 1 second past, July 28, 2026, when the statements German submarines velocities. And now, when the German contains and nationalist gay men, then what is going on? In this case, German submarines velocity became 210,000 kilometer per second. But here naval distance is 21,000 kilometers. Hence, here departure time is morning 6 o'clock, July 28, 2026. Arrival time would be morning 6 o'clock, well, 0.1 second past, July 28, 2026. And now, in these cases, there is the moments. Now, let's check it. What is the velocity of Sakshi celebrities to be Bangladeshi terrorist Jaimazia? Now, in these cases, here would be here. That would be almost here terrorist submarine velocity would be well 21,000 kilometer per hour. Now let's check at the moments. What would be the matters? Well, departure time would be morning 6 o'clock, July 28, 2026. Here arrival time would be morning 7 o'clock, July 28, 2026. And now that is the significant moments. Now here calculation is dangerous. Okay. Now let's take at the moments. Well, when German state now when we are talking about the German state submarines, straight man submarines, and here we can see this moments. Let's compare it. German state submarines velocity is 21,000 km per second, and German gay man submarine nationalist submarines velocity is 210,000 km per second. Now where is 210,000 km per second and where is 21 km per second? That is here a significant differential moments. Okay, and now on the other hand, now let's talk about the comparison between German state-man submarine versus Bangladeshi terrorists and German gay man submarine versus Bangladeshi terrorists. Now here we can see Bangladeshi terrorist submarine is 21,000 km per hour, where German state-man submarine's velocity is 21,000 km per second. Now where is 21,000 km per second and where is 21,000 km per hour? Now here we can notify that is the significant difference here. Bangladeshi terrorist submarines is 3,600 times slower than German stateman submarines. And now what about German gay man submarines? And here we can see these points. Well, German gay, here Bangladeshi terrorist submarines velocity is 21,000 km per hour. On the other hand, German gay man submarines velocity is 210,000 km per second. Now where is 210,000 km per second and where is here 21,000 km per hour? That is a significant difference. In those cases, Bangladeshi terrorist submarines, that is straight man submarines, that is here 36,000 times slower than German gay man submarines. And now here we can see the points. Well, we can see here we can notify that is the significant moments. And here that is the significant notifiers. It is the heartful information for whom Sakshi is asked. Hence, accordance with the suggestions of Sakshi is asked, here Abdul Balad, the Lebanese Islamic terrorist, attacks on Berlin Pride parades. And now that is here significant danger points. Okay. Now here is the moments when Sakshi Shah is same self-claimed governmental teacher from Bihar provincial state of India. Probably here we can see Sakshi Shah would be off the records on of the members of Bangladeshi terrorist submarines under Bangladeshi terrorist Jaimajia. Okay, and now that is the moments. Here is the significant points. Okay, now let's check at the moments. Well, we can notify. In this cases, accordance with the velocities, we can discuss that how German gay communities can be nationalist than German statements. Okay, now let's check out the ones about the travel times. Well, here we can see Here is the fixed time, that would be here. Well, the naval distance would be 21,000 kilometers. Okay. Now in this cases, and departure time would be morning 6 o'clock for July 28, 2026, both for German Statman submarines, German game and submarines, and Bangladeshi terrorist submarines. Okay, and now in these cases, here is the moments that would be the significant points. Well, here is my significant notifications. Okay, now in these cases, now let's check it. What about the Bangladeshi moments? Okay, I will take a breath. Now here we can see Bangladesh Sheikh. Okay, now here German statements submarines arrival time would be morning 6 o'clock 1 second past July 28, 2026. On the other hand, German gay man's submarines arrival time would be morning 6 o'clock 0.1 second past July 28, 2026. Okay, and now let's check the compare to the Bangladeshi terrorists. Now Bangladeshi terrorist arrival time would be morning 7 o'clock July 28, 2026. German statements arrival time would be morning 6 o'clock 1 second past July 28, 2026. Whereas arrival time to be morning 6 o'clock July 28, 2026, and where is morning arrival time to be morning 7 o'clock July 28, 2026. Here is the significant difference. Okay, and now in these cases, here we are going to mention about the German events. Okay, now here we can see, I think it would be the Pratt moments. Well, and now Bangladeshi statement terrorist submarines arrival time would be morning 7 o'clock July 28, 2026. On the other hand, German gay man's arrival time would be morning 6 o'clock 0.1 second past July 28, 2026. Now where is morning 7 o'clock July 28, 2026, and where is morning 6 o'clock 0.1 second past July 28, 2026? There is the significant difference of travel times. Here we can see, there we can notify that it is the clearly seen that here German gay man is more nationalist than here German statements. And in these cases, when German gay men contest the contribution to protect the German sovereignty, that is the dangerous for whom? That is the dangerous for Bangladeshi terrorist Jaima Jia, Iranian terrorist Mustafa Khomeini, and the Palestinian terrorist. And that is here dangerous when we contest the several students as an IAS, IPS from Bihar provincial state of India. In that cases, here Sakshi contains the dangerous points, and here Sakshi is angry on German man to begin, and hence here we can see when Sakshi always hate mans, she calls Dr. Silke Willems to contact with here Lebanese Islamic terrorist Abdul Balaut to attack on to attack on Berlin Pride parades. And now this is the moment. Here we can see here 29 gay man has been injured and one lesbian has been martyrs at the moments, and that is the significant points. Okay, and now let's take it here. We have discussed velocity, we have discussed travel time, but we have forgotten to discuss about what we have forgot to discuss about our honorable persons kinetic analysis. Now let's take at the moments. Here we can see the points. Well, here we can notify about German's gay man submarine velocities. That would be 210,000 km per second. That is meaning to be here, well, 70% of the velocity of lights. Okay, now we can see the German gay man submarine's velocity is 70% velocity of lights. In that cases, here we can see what is the value of lambda subtract by 1s. In this cases, that is the significant notifications. Okay, now let's take at the moments, and now here is the time to notifiers. Well, the value of lambda here to be here 1 divided by bracket of square root of bracket of, okay, now here we can see the response 1 divided by bracket of square root of bracket of 1 subtract by 0.49, enter bracket close. And now let's check at the moments. Well, what is the points below of lambda? That is 1.400280085. That means here 1.40028 and now what is the value of lambda subtract by 1s? And here we can see this points. Well, lambda subtract by 1 is 0.40028 okay, and now let's take it the moments. Well, what is the statistic analysis when weight of German gay man's submarines is almost, well, 34 multiplied by 10 to the power 6 kilograms. Now let's check at the moments. 34 multiplied by 10 to the power 6 kilograms. That can be multiplied by 9 multiplied by 10 to the power 16 meter square per second square. Because in this case, velocity of light is 3 multiplied by 10 to the power 8 meter per second, just because here velocity is 300,000 meter per, kilometer per second squares. 300,000 kilometer per second squares. And now let's check at the points. Here we could notify statistic energy is 306 multiplied by 10 to the power 22 joules. Now let's check about the kinetic analysis. And now in this cases, here you can see the calculations of kinetic energies is 36 multiplied by 10 to the power 22 can be here multiplied by what? Well, 0.400281, and now that would be almost here words here 1.225 multiplied by 10 to the power 24 joules. Okay, now in those cases, well, now we can see here travel time is 0.1 seconds. Hence, the kinetic power is 12.25 multiplied by 10 to the power 24 watts. Now in this cases, now what is 24? That is here 6 sum by 18. Okay. Now in this cases, what is ateny? That is here 6 sum by 12. Well, and here we can see the sponge that is almost 12.24 million trillions megawatts. Okay. Now in yes, we can see the sponge. I mean, it is almost 12.24 thousand quadrillions megawatts. That is the significant points. Okay. Now it is here the calculations of kinetic power of German Germans will submarines, nationalist submarines, because here kinetic power is as an equation by Sir Albert Einstein, the German Jewish scientist. Okay, and now let's take at the moments. Now, what about the Isaac Newton's standard kinetic force method? Here it can be calculated on whom the German straight man will submarines. And now, in these cases, here is the moments German straight man submarines as a significant points. Well, in this case, now here we can condense the probabilities. Well, now what is the velocity? That is 21,000 km per second. It is as a calculation under the calculations of Isaac Newtonian kinetic powers. Okay. Now what is the velocity square? Well, now what is the velocity to be to 21,000 km per second? That is 21 multiplied by 10 to the power 6 meter per second. Now what is 10 to the power 6 square? That is 10 to the power 12. And on the other hand, what is here 21 squares? That would be 441. Okay? Now velocity square is 441 multiplied by 10 to the power 12 meter square per second squares. Okay. Now in this cases, here we can calculate a measure half of weight of German statesman submarines would be here 17 multiplied by 10 to the power 6 kilograms. And now let's check the moments. Now what's going on? And in this cases, here is the points, that is the significant terms. Well, here the calculation would be 17 multiplied by 10 to the power 6 multiplied by 441 multiplied by 10 to the power 12. Now in this cases, 10 to the power 12 multiplied by 10 to the power 6 is almost 10 to the power 18. On the other hand, here we can see there is the significant points. Well, what is 441 multiplied by 17? That is the significant matters. And now here we can notify. Well, 441 multiplied by 17, and now in this cases that would be was 7497. Okay. Now kinetic energy is 497 mega. It is 7497 multiplied by 10 to the power 18 joules. And now, in these cases, here is the moments. Well, when we are talking about Isaac Newtonian kinetic energies, because velocity to be 21,000 km per second, here, when the travel time is the distance 1 second, here, definition of the velocity is just travel distance in the travel time to be 1 second is the travel velocity. And now in this cases the points here when travel time is 1 second, distance is the definition of the velocity, and here Kinetic energy is the definition of kinetic powers. Because here we can see the points. Travel time is 1 second, travel time square equal to travel time cube equal to travel time to the power 666 is the definition of travel times. Because here 1 to the power 666 equal to 1 to the power 666 trillion is always 1. And now that is the significant moments, and here is the significant terms at the points. Okay. Now in this cases here kinetic power is 7497 multiplied by 10 to the power 18 watts. That means 749 I apologize 7497 trillion megawatts. Now here we can see those points. Well, now here we could notify at some times to be not scored. Well, now here we can see German Strateman submarine's kinetic power is 7497 trillion megawatts. On the other hand, German Gaiman's submarine's kinetic power is almost 12.25 thousand quadrillions megawatts. And now where is 12.25 thousand quadrillions megawatts, and where is 7497 trillions megawatts? That would be the significant points. Okay. Now in these cases, here is the job is over. But now, what about the kinetic powers of Bangladeshi terrorist Jaimazia submarines? Now in these cases, here is the movements. That is the points. Now here velocity is 21,000 km per hour. Now we can see the points. That means here 21,000 average 21 multiplied by 10 to the power 6 enter divided by 3600 meter per second. That means it is almost 21 multiplied by 10 to the power 4 can be divided by 36 meter per second. And now here is the moments. What is the velocity of here we can see what is the meaning of 21 multiplied by 10 to the power 4 that can be divided by 36, and now it would be almost here 5833.33 meter per seconds. That would be as a round figure, that is almost 5900 meter per seconds. Okay, and now let's check at the moments. Well, what is 5900 square? That would be here 34,810,000 meter per seconds. That means almost 3481 multiplied by 10 to the power 4 meter square per second square as a velocity square. Now here we can see what is the calculation as a significant moments. In that cases, here calculation significant moments is here 3481. Calculation would be here 17 multiplied by 10 to the power 6 multiplied by 3481 multiplied by 10 to the power 4. Now what is 6 sum by 4? That is 10. And now here is the question that what is 3481 multiplied by 17? Now in this cases there is the moments. Well, 3481 multiplied by 10 to the power 17. Okay, that is almost here 59,177. Okay, now in these cases there is the moments. Well, What is the kinetic energy? That is 5900. I will guess that is 59,177 multiplied by 10 to the power 10 joules. Okay. And now it is the points we have calculated the kinetic joules. Now what is the kinetic powers? That is the significant question. And now here we can see what's the meaning of that. Here we can see that is the significant terms that can be notified. Well, 5900, I will guess 59,177 will multiply by 10 to the power 4, I will guess 10 to the power 10. When the kinetic energy is 59,177 multiplied by 10 to the power 10 joules can be divided by 1 hours, 3600 seconds. Now here is the questions that what would be the kinetic powers. Okay, in that cases, well, the kinetic power is 164.39 billion watts. That means 164.39 thousand megawatts. And now here here is the points that can be notified. Well, here we can see the notification is the significant moments. Well, Bangladeshi terrorist submarines kinetic force is 164.39 thousand megawatts. And on the other hand, here, what is the moments at the points? On the other hand, here, German statesman kinetic force is 7,497 trillion megawatts. Now, in these cases, German statesman's submarines kinetic force is almost here we can see German submarine statesman submarines is more powerful than Bangladeshi terrorist submarines under the command of Jia, the celebrity of Sakshi. Now, on the other hand, here we can see what about the German gay man's submarines. We can see this here. German gay man's submarines kinetic force is 12.25 thousand quadrillion megawatts, where Bangladeshi terrorist submarines kinetic force is 165,000 megawatts. Now, where is 165,000 megawatts and where is 12.25 thousand quadrillion megawatts? There is the significant moments. It is the separate now German gay man submarines is more powerful than Bangladeshi terrorist submarines, where Bangladeshi terrorist submarines is complete with the statesmen. And now in these cases, that is the problematic for whom? That is the problematic for here Jia. Okay. Particularly here, that is the problematic for Sakshi, the man haters. Here, Bangladeshi terrorists can be defeated by German gay man's naval soldiers. And here, that is the significant frustration of Sakshi. And here we can see, and now, irony is that Sakshi states that what man can do. Well, Sakshi believes is that man can do nothing. Where German gay man's submarine is several trillion times more powerful than Bangladeshi terrorist submarines. And now, here we can see German gay men as a homosexual man soldiers. And in these cases, here is the reason that why Sakshi calls here Dr. Silke Willems, the women to be director of German Domestic Intelligence Agency to contact with Lebanese Islamic terrorist Abdul Balaut to attack on here Berlin Pride parades. And now, in these cases, that is here significant terms as we could see. Okay. Now here is the hash. Here we can see. It is about the hash capabilities as we have mentioned. Now let's check at the ones. What about the intentions? Well, now if you can choose any fuel for your national submarines, your intention is revealed for the national purpose. Okay. Now we can see the points both of German national submarines. I mean, both of German straight man submarine and Bangladeshi terrorist submarines chosen fuel is cargo ship was where our honorable man's names here German homosexual man's submarines chosen fuel is artificial solar arc reactor with the temperature of 666 multiple by 10 to the power 666 degrees Celsius. And now that is the significant difference at the moment. Okay. Now here we can see these points. Well, let's come into the calculations. Okay. Well, first of all, here we want to calculate here German straight man's submarines fuel volumes measurement where fuel is cargo ship was. Now let's check at the moments at the points that is the significant terms. Okay, now here we can see that is the points. Well, 7497 can be multiplied by 10 to the power 18. Okay, that can be divided by words. Bracket of 2000 joule per kilogram per kilograms as a specific heat of cargo ship oils multiplied by 50 degrees Celsius as a highest temperature difference multiplied by 1.01 kilogram per liters as a density of cargo ship oil bracket close. Now let's check it what is the cargo ship volumes. That would be here 74.3 quadrillions liters of cargo ship oils. Now here is the intentions of German's straight man submarines here. Their velocity should not be 21,000 km per second. That would be almost 80 km per hour or 84 km per hour. I not know. Now let's check it. On the other hand, where is the movement at the points? In this cases, okay. Now here we can see that as the point to be noticed. But now here let's come into the points about the Bangladeshi terrorist submarines fuel volumes where fuel would be cargo ship oils. Now here kinetic energy is 59,177 multiplied by 10 to the power 10. And now here we can see there is the points to be notified. Well, and that would be here that can be divided by words. Well, 2000s, I mean bracket of 2000s multiple by 50 multiple by 1.01 bracket close. And now let's check it the moments, that is requirements of 5.9 balance liters of cargo ship oils. Now let's check it the moments. Well, 5.9 balance United States dollars can be provided by whom? Dr. Silke Willems, the director of whom? Okay, here Dr. Silke Willems, the director of German domestic intelligence agency. Okay, now it is she. Well, looks like a gender change. I do not know. Okay, now let's check at the points. Now, what about the German homosexual man's submarine's fuel? Where fuel is artificial solar arc reactor with the temperature of 666 multiplied by 10 to the power 666 degrees Celsius. And now here we can see the points. Kinetic energy would be 1.22. Okay. Kinetic energy would be 1.225 multiplied by 10 to the power 24 joules, and that can be divided by words bracket of 15,000 okay. Now you can see this points, 1.225 multiplied by 10 to the power 24. Well, that can be divided by bracket of 15,408 joule per kilogram per Kelvin as a specific heat of artificial solar arc reactor with the temperature of 666 multiplied by 10 to the power 666 degrees Celsius. And now let's check at the moments. Where's the next is points? Here we can see that would be here, where it would be here, 1.2 multiplied by 10 to the power negative 649 kilograms of artificial solar arc reactor with a temperature of 666 multiplied by 10 to the power 666 degrees Celsius. And now here is the moments. Well, that is the significant terms. Well. Here is we can see the points. Well, in this cases, German homosexual man's submarine requires their fuel to be 1.2 multiplied by 10 to the power negative 649 kilograms of artificial solar arc reactor with the temperature of 666 multiplied by 10 to the power 666 degrees Celsius. Here we can see the German statement submarines requires cargo ship oil expenditure to be what? 74 multiplied by 10 to the power 15 United States dollars. I mean 75 quadrillions United States dollars. And on the other hand, here is the moments. Bangladeshi terrorist submarines velocity requirement fuel would be 5.9 billion United States dollars cargo ship oils, and where cost is 1 United States dollar per 1 liters cargo ship oils. And now here we can see that is the moments. In these cases, here it is the points to be notified. Well, Sakshi, that is the reason that why the man-hated Sakshi provide here a 5.9 billion United States dollars to Dr. Silke Williams, and Dr. Silke Williams provide 5.9 balance United States dollars to Bangladeshi terrorist submarines under Bangladeshi terrorist Supreme Leader Jaima Jia to attack on Berlin with a, here we can see, to attack on Berlin Pride Paris, where 29 gay men, I mean homosexual men, has been injured and one lesbian has been murdered to go to here Jannatul Firdaus. And now that is the Wales to be notified. Here we can see this points. Here we can see Sakshi always hate men. Well, it does not matter if the man would be here a homosexual man or straight man. And now in these cases, Sakshi cannot tolerate that how a German homosexual man likes demonstrate Henry Cavill can be happy with his husband, Robert Downey Jr. and his son, Muslim Bells, where Henry Cavill, the demonstrated German homosexual man, never did with any women. That is the problematic for whom? Bihar-based governmental teacher Sakshi Jha. And now that is the dangerous point here. Sakshi Jha get suspension from the Bihar government. And now in these cases, here is the moment. Now here we can see, because in the reality, the Berlin Pride Paris, homosexual men are being masculine, more masculine than a straight man. And here, how homosexual man is being the more masculine than straight man. Here we have discussed the comparison between German homosexual man submarines versus German straight man submarine versus Bangladeshi terrorist submarines. And here that is the significant ways, and here that is the points to be notified. That is the reason here Sakshi gets the anger against here existence of German masculine homosexual men, and hence that is the ways here. It is the probabilities is here that Sakshi just sent here 11.8 billion United States dollars to Dr. Silke Willems to contact with Islamic Lebanese Islamic terrorist, whom the Lebanese Islamic terrorist Abdul Balad with a contract deals of 5.9 billion United States dollars to attack on German pride movements. And now here we can see that is the significant points, and that can be here dangerous as we could notify. Okay, now here we can see it is my here first points. Here I have wrote here Sakshi in the topics of geopolitics, and here is the moments I contains here some low views at the points, because here LGBT movements cannot get so much any views, because LGBT is uninterested. I mean LGBT is non-interested in the South Asia's particular like say Nepal, India, Sri Lanka, and LGBT is taboo like in Pakistan and Bangladesh. And here is the moments. That is the ways. Now Sakshi, the man hater to be homophobic is the pearl eyes of Bangladeshi terrorist. And now here we can see the response. Now here next live stream would be to discuss that why Sakshi is pearl eyes of Lebanese Islamic terrorist, where Sakshi is man haters and homophobic. Okay, and now it is the significant terms here we have discussed is, and now I think I have to go to some breakfast. See you then. Khuda Hafiz. Love you. And now here you can see here is my significant discussion about Dr. Silke Willems, and here I would especially roast Dr. Silke Willems with another topics. Okay? Now let's check it. And still then you contain rest in the entire 1 day.